Hello, my name is Ezekiel and I'm going to be delivering the report on religion. I need to get through this quickly. I only have 6 minutes to do it and I know it's going to take me longer. So anyways, my name is Ezekiel and here we go. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is Buddhism. Buddhism is a Eastern religion that was founded in India by Siddhartha. Here's a photograph of him. Basically, principles of Buddhism is, achieving balance. Siddhartha was not a deity. He was a teacher. It is regarded as one of the biggest religions in the world with almost 500 million followers. The next religion that I want to speak about is Taoism. Taoism is founded by Lssc. He was a teacher and a philosopher. So Taoism is going to be more expressed in the form of philosophy as opposed to a ritualized religion, although it is also a religion. Basic teachings are about qi, yin yang, Tao, which is balance. It's the way. Of course, I'm covering all this really fast, and details are in my report. And then Shintoism. Here's a picture of a Shinto gate. Is observed largely just in the way of life. So the way that people would live out their daily life, a Japanese person, the way that their society even functions culturally, the way that they think about issues and stuff is going to be largely Shinto. So even someone who is not practicing Shintoism per se, the way that they live their lives actually reflects Shintoism quite well, and it's observed more that way as opposed to organized religion and rituals. Although they do exist. They do have temples, and they do have Shinto weddings are extremely common. The main principle of Shinto is going to be kami. Kami is a lot of things. It's not easily expressed in words. It's ancestors' essence. It's the essence. It's the gods. It's spirits. It's power that resides in things. It's very interesting. Like I said, it's hard to express. You could write a report alone on kami. And then now get into the more specifics of how these religions deal with death. So in Buddhism, you have Buddhism reincarnation, also known as samsara. Basically, this is closely connected with karma in the sense that basically the choices that you make have different actions associated with them. I don't mean to be jumping around. And those actions cultivate eventually into, so once you die, your next life is going to be reflected. This cycle continues until you reach nirvana, which is absolute enlightenment. That's a big thing about death that I wanted to cover there in Buddhism. In Taoism, this is a Taoist temple. There's also reincarnation, but Taoism is a little bit different. So originally, Taoism actually did not have any sort of doctrine on death, because immortality was actually like a major goal expressed in Taoism. So because of that, death was almost like not really covered. But of course, people died and had to be addressed. So in Taoism, the idea is that there's different spirits that reside in you, and when you do a funeral properly, you basically help convince those spirits to protect the body. Also, the spirits kind of, in a way, they reincarnate, they go into a different body. So it's not the person themselves. The way that I understand it, it's not the person themselves that's reincarnated, but the spirits that are residing in them are going to move to a new host, basically, to reside in. That's going to be more of a Taoist reincarnation. And then also we have Shinto, a Shinto opinion on death. So in Shintoism, everybody has an eternal soul. What happens to that soul after death is they can go to a different realm that might be heaven or an underworld or any other number of realms. And then eventually that soul can actually turn into kami, like their ancestors. So they'll actually have festivals appeasing their ancestors, about protecting the body and all this. And oh yes, I remember. Lost my train of thought. So big part of Shintoism is purity, and death is regarded as super impure. So because of that, a Shinto priest actually doesn't interact with the funeral, and a lot of times a Shinto funeral doesn't necessarily exist, and it's more of a Buddhism funeral. So that's actually what this picture is. It's a picture of a Buddhism funeral instead, because of that reason. Similarities. It was really interesting to find that, you know, reincarnation was a part of several different Eastern religions, but there, even within that, there was a variance. I thought that was very interesting. Just the high respect for ancestors, even though that was, you know, exclusively expressed in Shintoism and somewhat Taoism too. It was just, and then also a lot of these religions had basically this emphasis on non-violence too. So that was an interesting similarity. But there's different Eastern religions that are more easy to compare. Like for instance, Confucianism and Taoism are a lot more similar, I think. Drawing from Buddhism, Taoism, and Shintoism, I think that was an interesting challenge for me, but it was interesting to find their similarities. And then personal reflection. I just found this whole thing extremely interesting. I grew up in an Abrahamic religion, so there's a lot of similarities between Judaism, Christianity, and Islam that, you know, even if one was new to you, that you could be like, oh, I recognize that in my own religion. So, but a lot of the Eastern stuff was completely brand new to me, specifically the whole concept of reincarnation, how there's even different kinds. That was super interesting. So there was a lot that I learned. I really enjoyed this assignment. I'm enjoying this class, but anyways, that covers all the basic principles of my report, and I hope you enjoy reading it. Thank you.